Miracles come while we in the fight. Don't give up and hold him tight. You will have a visible battle scar, but never forget who you are and fight, fight, fight.
Hello, and welcome to Embracing the Fight. I am Erica Lamar, your digital creator and host. Embracing the Fight was created to help normalize the conversation surrounding physical and mental health issues and concerns. And I start this whole podcast off by talking about my journey through thyroid cancer. Now, why would I do that? Well, if you look around your family, your friends, you'll see people going through and struggling with things, and they're doing it, in silence. And I want to show you what it's like going through everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, and what it's like to actually be able to share. And I must admit that being able to do this podcast, being able to come before you every week, it has truly been freeing. I have to admit that I'm a very private person. And when things bother me, I keep them, close to me. I keep it, to myself. And I know what it feels like to suffer in silence. And I don't even have a real good reason to say why, I suffer in silence, because I have amazing friends. I have an amazing support system. It's just something in me that I'm dealing with, that God is dealing with me. And it's not pride. I'm looking for a good name for it. Maybe somebody can tell me, what it is, because it's not even that I'm ashamed, because it's not like I said, hey, pick me, give me cancer, or pick me, make me sick, or pick me, give me some type of mental trouble or some mental struggle. I didn't do that. So since I didn't do that, it's like, I can't say that, I deserve it or anything like that. So, I have no reason as to why I used to suffer in silence concerning some things. Because I found that when you share your struggle, you help so many other people to heal. Because during this process, I received text messages, emails, calls of several people that are going through different things, and they're in different stages, and they need different levels of advice, or they're asking all kinds of questions. They're lost. They need prayer. They need all these different things. And it's doing so much for my spirit to be able to speak life, to be able to encourage, to be able to sometimes wrap my arms around these people, because everything that they're feeling, everything that they're going through, at some point, I felt it. But I kept it to myself. But then they said, we see you on this podcast and you're telling us everything about you and everything that's going on. And I feel connected to you. I feel like I know you. Your voice is so soothing. It's so calming. You seem like such a kind person. And I just feel so much better by being able to have someone to talk to. And that does my heart well. It gives me joy, because since I decided to stop suffering, or living, I should say, in silence, I'm growing. And it's not because of anything that I've done. It's not because of anything that money could buy. It's all because God gave me what my purpose is in life. And for years, I said I've been searching and searching and searching and searching. I always knew that I wanted to help people, but I just didn't know how. Didn't realize that it would be through my voice, my struggles, anything that I was going through, my testimony, all of that will help bring others, one, to Christ, two, to really start looking at themselves and saying, what can I do to be healthy? And that has been one of the greatest things for me, because I have friends that have come to me and said, you know what, I am 50 years old and I've never had a colonoscopy. And it's like, well, you understand what a colonoscopy is for and why it's important to do it sooner than later, especially if it's already showing up in your family. Like if you have a aunt, uncle, cousin, mother, father, sister, brother, anyone who's had colon polyps or colon cancer, you should be on high alert. And see, this person, I believe they had a parent that had colon cancer. And it's like, why wouldn't you go ahead and check? And the question and their response was fear. They didn't want to know. But it's like the sooner you know, the sooner you can get treatment, the sooner you can get help. So why wouldn't you want to know? And I'm posing this question to you all. What is that thing that's nagging you right now that you're sitting there saying, what, I'll put this off, it'll get better, sooner or later? No, don't do that. Take the time and find out what it is that's causing you discomfort, that's making you question, that's making you unsure about your health. You have to be the number one proponent for your health. You have to take charge of it. You can't let it take charge of you, because if you do that, then you're going to see yourself getting sick. You're going to see yourself getting weaker, and you're going to be like, what, I don't know what to do. At that point, who knows? It may or may not be too late, but you have to take charge. You cannot just sit back and let this happen to you. Let me explain to you why. So back to my doctor visit, February 8th. So I talked with my doctor on Tuesday of this week, and she was reviewing my lab work with me. Now, this is one of the greatest things that I have seen, in technology. My doctor sent me an email through a secure system, which is fine with me. I don't have to go, into the doctor's office, because going to the doctor from my house to where they are, it takes about an hour. And then, especially the time of day, it may have taken even longer to get there and twice as long, to get back. But anyway, she sent me back to determine exactly how the thyroid hormone replacement was, reacting in my body, how it's performing. And she also had a test done for tumor markers to see if I had any presence of the thyroid cancer still, in my blood. And she tested for testosterone. So let's start with that one first, right? So I'm in there with an endocrinologist. So I'm telling her everything that I can think of that has something to do with our, endocrine glands. So she's like, do you have any other questions, after she's gone over, everything concerning my thyroid diagnosis? And I said, yeah, I've noticed that I'm having even more hair like under my chin and above my lip. So she looks at me and she says, well, do you get it waxed? Have you lasered? Have you done all these things? And I tell her, I'm like, lady, I have tried everything. And she was so tickled. She was like, what do you mean you tried everything? I said, well, I tried laser and off for maybe a year. It didn't work. Actually, it made it grow back twice as long, twice as thick, twice as many. I was like, what in the world? I thought laser was supposed to make it go away. Apparently not me, not my skin, not my hair follicles. They were like, this must be some type of growing light, because I'm about to have a full beard here. And I'm exaggerating because I don't really have, a full beard or anything like that. But I have more hair under there than I would prefer. All right. So then she was like, well, have you tried this cream? And I was like, yeah, I tried that too. And it didn't do anything. It didn't do anything at all. So then she starts to say, well, if you're taking birth control helps make it go, completely away. So that's totally contradictory to what I want to do. And then with my history of factor V Leiden and my body already wanting to make blood clots, taking some type of birth control to do something cosmetic, is just, it just doesn't make sense, for me. Especially not knowing that I'm already having to take blood thinners because of the blood clots that are already trying to form. And here I go, trying to add something else that's gonna make more blood clots just to make hair go away. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. So then I asked, I was like, okay, so what else, is there? And she's like, well, we need to see, really what's going on, because for your testosterone level to be this high, she was like, and you've tried these things that would normally make the hair go away. She was like, you know, you something has to be off here. So she tested the testosterone level. I don't have the results for that because that didn't come back yet. And neither did the result for the tumor markers. But I was saying that to say this: maximize your doctor visits. Whenever you go in, no matter, what it is that you have going on, make sure you have a list of stuff. So when you get in there, you're reading your grocery list and you make sure you're getting all your items checked off. Because if you don't, you're going to get home and you'll say, dang, I forgot to ask about this, or I forgot to ask about that. And you're wondering about things that's going to cost you another copay to find out information you could have asked the first time that you went, right? All right, so back to the results for the thyroid hormone replacement. So she tells me, much to my disappointment, that I am now in a hyperactive state. So I'm like, I'm gaining weight again. Like, what in the world? I go and I walk every day at least for an hour and a half. So yesterday I did almost 14,000 steps. And today I think I'm up to like maybe 8,000. But I know I got to ride my bike. I got to walk. I still got to do, something to get it up above 14,000 steps. And I'm sitting here going, so if it's hyperactive, I know what she's about to do. She's about to lower my dosage. So if she lowers my dosage, then it's going to get closer to either normal or it's going to drop to hypoactive. And then hypoactive, you know what it does. It's back to weight gain again. So I'm like, goodness gracious, what do I do to help balance this thing out? And it's almost like she's a mind reader. She looked at me and was like, well, the hair and the performance of the thyroid medication can also be helped with weight loss. And I could do nothing but smile and say, you know what, I got to lose weight. So I'm eating better. And like I said, I'm walking every day and I'm increasing my water intake as well. And it's a journey. I'm telling you, it's not something, you look at people who are totally dedicated to running, lifting, and doing all these things all day, every day. That was me. When I was in my 20s, you could not pinch an inch off from me. I was finer than cat hair. You hear me? But life happened and I put on some pounds, and now I'm starting to see the impact of gaining weight. So I'm saying to you, before you get into this situation, eat healthy, get enough rest, get enough water, do the things that you need to do to be kind to yourself, and your body will in turn be kind to you. So what I've decided to do is, on YouTube, I'm going to give you a few shorts, maybe 1 or 2 a week. I haven't decided, exactly how many, but I want to show you my progress. And it'll almost be like a flip book at the end, so you can see what I look like when I started and then what I look like when I end. Because I want to inspire people from every aspect, not just from healing from thyroid cancer, but from getting healthy again, at 45. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't feel bad. It's like I feel great. I have lots of energy. When I'm walking, I'm not, breathing and people down the street can hear me. I'm breathing like normal. I run, I play tennis, I do, all these different things, but I'm trying to work myself back into it, after having this surgery. So I just want you all to see that it takes work to see the progress. It doesn't just happen overnight. And anybody who tells you that it does happen overnight, they had to have had a great surgeon. That's all I can say about that. And then on the flip side of everything, after, learning all of this, she tells me that I have to come back, in 6 months for them to retest to see how the thyroid hormone replacement change is actually taking place, how it's doing, in my body. So, okay, I look forward to that. But then she responds concerning the tumor markers, and she says, as soon as I get that information, I'll share it with you. So I am very hopeful that they'll come back and they'll say that there, is no thyroid cancer and no thyroid cancer cells were found. And the other reason too, and I forgot to mention, is the fact that she said, because I have some residual thyroid cells that are left behind, because as I explained on the last podcast, that when they remove your thyroid, it's not like they're doing a precision cut. They're just trying to remove the thyroid itself, because one, they don't have a whole lot of time and they don't have a whole lot of space to work with, so some of it gets left behind, and it still produces the presence of the thyroid hormone. So as they're giving you the replacement, and that's making a little bit here and there, it makes your numbers go up. And that's what contributed to the hyperactivity of the production of the thyroid hormone. So I'm learning a whole lot about me and about medication and about all the things that I'm having to do to make sure that I'm healthy. Because if I'm not, taking this medication regularly with enough water, on an empty stomach, not with any other supplements, because they take away the effectiveness of the medication, that if I don't do these things properly, I can impact my liver. And you can't live without your liver. Now, you can get a transplant, but who wants to do that when you can take care of the liver that you have? And I see there's a lot of research going on that shows that you can take a portion of a healthy liver and literally grow another liver, in a sense. So I don't want to find all that stuff out. I just want to work with the liver that I have. I want to treat it well. So if I take my medication on time, if I make sure that I stay hydrated, and I don't take all these other things or anything that has an adverse reaction with this medication, I should be fine. All right, so on the other side of things, let's talk about our mentality during all of this. So I'm sitting here thinking about how a few months back, I was having horrible headaches. I was blacking out. I was so dizzy sometimes that I would stand up, and next thing I know, I'd be like, how did I get down here on the floor? I didn't call anybody. I didn't tell anybody that I had any of this going on. I kept it to myself because I just wanted to believe that it had something to do, with my blood pressure only. And I kept saying, yeah, I know, I've gained weight, whatever. I didn't want it to be anything else. But then I started having it ringing in my ears, and I started having all these other things that were hitting me all at once. And I started to sit there and I started saying, I'm not where I want to be. And this cannot be how it ends. So I said to myself, from this day forward, to thine own self be true. I refuse to let other people speak things into my life. But people have their own, opinions, and they have their own thoughts. And that's when I had to come to myself and say, to thine own self be true. It's what I think of me that matters. It's what I think will bring me peace that matters. It's the choices that I make that will give me peace. It has nothing to do with anything else that's around me. For instance, I was talking with one of the guys that I work with. And at one point, I was trying to explain to him what it felt like being me. And for a second, it really felt like he got what I was saying. And it was like, am I just explaining that well or what? But the reason he understood it is because he had a front row seat of what's been going on. So when people are allowed to see exactly what's going on in your life, and you're able to speak about those things, sometimes they can sympathize with you. Sometimes they can help you get to a greater place. Sometimes they can speak life, they can encourage you. And sometimes they could be the reason that something in you ignites and you go ahead and you chase after whatever it is because you do not want to be held in that position anymore. You don't want to be treated that way. I said all that to say this. I've always wanted to be a business owner. I've always said, I'm going to be an entrepreneur when I grow up. But I didn't know exactly how to do it or, really, really what that meant. And I'm at a point now where I'm not afraid to try anymore. I was one of those people that looked at failure as a stopping point. When now I understand that if I fall, I just need to fall up or fall forward. Because anytime you fall up or you fall forward, you learn to keep going in that direction. But if you fall down and you fall back, you get hurt. And what happens when you get hurt? You either go to get some help or you lay there and cry in the pity of whatever hurt you. So I'm saying to you today to follow your dream, to believe in who you are, whose you are, and what you are. There is something special, deep, and it's burning inside of you, and only you can do it. And I realize that people sometimes treat me the way they treat me because they see the light in me. They see the level of intelligence. They see the greatness in me, and they don't understand it. And you know what people do when they don't understand something? They fear it. And you know who's the most dangerous to you? A person who fears you. One who is afraid will do several things to protect themselves. And you know what? Sometimes that fear that they have is an illusion. But because it's in their mind, they're going to act on it. So I'm saying, I know that I can be a threat in any arena that I'm put in. But because of grace, because of humility, I only want to be an asset. I only want to add to. I want to help. I want to encourage transparently and faithfully. I want to help you all embrace your fight. I want to give you a voice to speak your truth, to help others see that even though you have an illness, even though you've got something that society says is a crutch, that you can make it through it. You are not alone. Don't ever believe that you are alone. Take a moment to pray. God hears you. Everything that concerns you concerns our Father. Take it to Him in prayer. And once you take it there, leave it there. Trust and believe He will do it. So I'm just asking right now, if you were to take a moment and start to look at your life, think about it. When did people start trying to test you or despise you? Was it before or after you started to show your greatness? Think about it. If it was after your greatness, don't even be mad with them because they don't understand how the things that they're trying to do to you to keep you down are projecting you to be an even greater. So I'm just saying, hold on. Continue to fight the good fight, but fight properly. Do it to where it's in your favor. For instance, I'm not saying go in your job and, cut up tomorrow and tell people off or anything like that. I'm saying build a legacy that you'll be remembered by, not necessarily at the place of employment. But I'm saying if you build your own business, start building it now. Because that same hard work that you're putting in at this job that you're at for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, you could be putting it in for yourself to build generational wealth and to help your children and their children. Heck, you could even help, your parents, your brothers and sisters. You can help your community by doing something great. That great thing that's inside of you, rather than going to a place where you're unappreciated or a place that you don't necessarily like. I work with a great team of people and an honest team of guys. And they are the highlight for me to go to work. And if I were to ever bring them on the show, you would understand why. But there are some other things outside of them that we cannot control that don't make my job as pleasant as it could be. But I am grateful and I am thankful that I'm surrounded by the team that I have. But I'm also building on the outside. And I want you all to know that it's perfectly fine to build. Think about it. The company that you're working for, somebody built that. And they're building generational wealth for their family, so why not do the same for yours? To thine own self be true. You don't have to explain. To thine own self be true. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Embracing the Fight. I am Erica Lamar, your digital creator and host. Have an amazing, amazing day.